Hey everybody, it's Audrey. Happy National Scrapbooking Day and International Scrapbooking Day and just happy scrapbooking. Today I am part of a YouTube hop for National Scrapbooking Day, so there is a link of participants below and you can go to their channels and see their process videos for projects today to celebrate this wonderful hobby. So I have dug into my stash a little bit today, just a little bit. I actually end up going to some newer stuff, but I had these photos of my daughter roller skating, and I remembered that this old crepe paper line, which was called Oh Darling, had a lot of roller skating icons in it. So I went through the die cut and the die cut packs and the chipboard packs, and there was vellum, and there were so many embellishments with this collection. I don't think I might get into them here in a little bit. I can't remember if I actually pulled them back out, but I had gone through them ahead of time and pulled out things that I thought I might use on this page. That kind of gold vellum, like hexagon shape paper up there on the right, that is also from this Old Darling collection. And then this paper you might recognize is a newer paper from Crepe Paper from their Cute Girl collection. And I love the colors in this, and I thought it would be perfect for my page. So because this was a page about her roller skating, I kind of went with the circle theme because I'm thinking about, when you're roller skating and you're going around in circles. So that is why I picked this design. And this is like, I see this design a lot. It's a common design where people take a circle and like either, stitch over it or just draw sketch lines for a circle, and then they scatter little embellishments around the ring of the circle and add their photos around the ring somewhere. So that's pretty much what I did. And you can see I used a circle template there, and I just drew in with some pencil lines for rings, because I'm going to scatter some things on different levels of rings here. And I arranged my photos. I have three kind of taller, skinnier photos. I had to crop out a lot of the background because I wanted to focus on her. And I have my two photos on the left with her facing towards the middle. Well, she's looking towards the middle of the layout, and then the picture that I will put in the top right is her looking more towards the left. So I always have the person in the photo kind of looking toward the center of the layout. So the background paper, by the way, that wood grain paper is actually the back side of the striped piece of paper that I just punched from. I happen to have two copies of that piece of pattern paper, so I'm using them here. And I thought the wood grain would go well with the wood, like the wood flooring, so to kind of go along with that theme. So the embellishing for this page was super simple. Once I punched out those circles, I just went through the little pile of embellishments that I chose, and I just pulled out other circle-shaped items, and then a couple other girly things, because this is kind of a girly, cutesy page. I was able to use, I'm not big on using a lot of girly things all the time, but when I have the opportunity to, I like to use them. I was also thinking of kind of like a disco ball and like the shimmery shininess of a disco ball, and I really wanted to put some silver letters here. So I'm playing with what I have in my stash, and I cannot believe that of all the stuff I have, I do not have silver glitter letters. I have like 18 packages of gold glitter. I do not have any silver glittery letters. So I was playing with something there, but I come back to that in a little bit. I kind of skipped the part where I punched out from the vellum some circle shapes too. I used just a couple different, I have some circle punches there on the right, two different size circle punches, and I just punched out a few of the vellum shapes and just scattered those vellum around the rings. When I'm putting these things on the page, I don't know if you can tell from the screen, but I am putting them on top of one of the 4 rings that I drew in the pencils to kind of keep them in line. So I'm pulling off the some small bits here from this Cute Girl sticker sheet too. There's some small stars, and again, just looking for some little phrases and things to add around the circle. It filled up pretty quickly with all the embellishments that I had, and these chipboard pieces that I had. It did fill up really quickly. But that Cute Girl chipboard had something about the roller rink on it, so I had to add it in. You notice with the embellishments what I did as well is I tried to put things on the circles that I punched that matched the color. so that the colors are kind of staying together. So I have the aqua color bow on the aqua circle and the pink bow on the pink circle. So I'm trying to kind of stick with similar color scheme around the circle as well. I'm getting to a point here where I feel like, you know, I don't want to add too much more, and if I do add anything, it's not going to be anything big. I just want some little subtle touches here and there because it's already pretty full. And I was also kind of not adding too much because I know I'm going to put the word roller in there at some point. Okay, so I get that pretty much to a point where I'm happy with all of the things I have. Again, this is a lot of me just fiddling through my stuff, just seeing if I have any last minute little bits and pieces that I think might fit in well. And I spend so much time doing this on my pages. I really need to just pick something and move on. I would probably scrap a lot faster. I found a kind of blue like rhinestone in this Oh Darling pack, and I wanted to continue with the blue the rhinestone theme. So I went and found some pink rhinestones and actually a yellow one, and I can't believe I have as many rhinestones as I do because I hardly ever use them. And I just found a couple other like silvery sparkle ones I added on there again because I wanted to add a little bit of shimmer in there and some sparkle. Before I go any further, I decide, you know what, I better start gluing these things down, and I know that I was going to stitch over those over the circles, so I'm going to start gluing all these things down before I get too much on the page, and then once I stitch over them, I'll go back and add my little bits where they need to be. I had to remove the things off of the circle that, like I put the rhinestones down on the line, and I forgot that I was going to stitch over them, so I don't know why I put them down because I had to peel them all off to stitch because you can't stitch over the rhinestones. I did stitch over everything else though. If there was a piece of chipboard or any of those like plasticky stickers, I stitched right over everything. So there you can see my stitching lines, and I am going through with my eraser and now erasing the pencil lines. Here's a tip when you're stitching and you have drawn lines on your paper to help guide you when you stitch. Do not actually stitch on your lines. You want to stitch either just inside or just outside of your lines, and then it will make it easier to erase the pencil line if you decide to draw lines. And look at this, I thought of using my little troll pencil's hair to take off all my little eraser pieces that came off when I was erasing. That worked well. I'm going to have to use that little pencil for more things like that. So I thought to add in a little bit more movement, and because the white thread didn't show up so well on this background, I'm just taking the wand of my Dylusions white mist here, and I'm kind of tracing, kind of just scattering some lines, going along the lines of my stitching. But you can see, you know, I started up in the top left a little bit, that as it goes through, it's kind of drying up and getting soaked into the paper. And I didn't shake this bottle well enough when I started. I really liked how it looked to start, but it just kind of gets absorbed into the paper. And I always have that problem with white mist. This white mist is definitely the best white mist, but it still absorbs a lot into pattern papers, I find, and it doesn't leave quite as much white as I wish it did, but I get a little bit of the effect I was looking for. So then I went through and I grabbed a pink mist, a yellow mist, an aqua mist, and a navy mist, and I sprinkled those on the page in their respective areas as well. I did a little experiment there with some gold mist, and I knew that's where my photos were going, so I wasn't worried about putting it there, but I did not like the gold for sure. It looks too brown on this page. So I have all my little bits stuck down, and I'm going to go through and arrange these other pieces like I had them and just start adhering them with glue and with foam adhesives. I had a little bit more, another rhinestone there to that bow in the center. And this page really came together very quickly. I love that I documented this. So at my daughter's school, they actually have roller skating parties in the gym, and they have this company that comes in with a whole bunch of roller skates, and the kids ahead of time say what size skates they need, and they go in, and there's parents and teachers that help out the kids skating, and they skate in a circle and they play music, and it's really, really fun. Um, Especially because we don't have like roller skate or rinks rather for like younger kids. So this was kindergarten, first and second graders. It was super, super cute. And I was shocked at how well she did. And she totally reminded me of me when I was little, because my best friend and I, when we were 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, we used to roller skate for hours in the 80s. Hours and hours. And I was on roller skates all the time. So it was like such a huge flashback, and I love that she loved it. And I was so proud of her. She did really good. It's so hard though when you, this is terrible, but to go there and watch the kids wiping out, and they're totally wiping out, and most of the time they're getting up and they're laughing, and I wouldn't laugh at the kid who falls down and starts crying, but the kids are just wiping out so hard, and me and another mom were trying not to laugh too hard. But anyway, that's terrible to say, but I couldn't help myself. It was kind of funny. All right, so I've gone through and added, stuck all my things down with my photos here, and my my foam, my craft foam. I'm just popping them off the page a little bit. I use some double-sided tape to glue those down because I don't think liquid adhesive works very well on those. I'm going to use some foam squares to put my label stickers on. I'm sorry if I sound a little stuffy. I've had terrible, terrible cold this week and allergies, and the weather is so on and off, miserable. So my sinuses are just a wreck. But yeah, so I'm just putting things on where I had them. So this is basically kind of me just putting it on. And then my last step here is to figure out what I want to do with the word roller. So I went through my stash and I found silver letters. They weren't glittery silver, but I liked the font. I thought it was fun. So my idea is I'm going to cover them with this chunky silver glitter that I have. And you can see it there on the right. And I actually got that in the dollar bin at Target, which you can find some amazing scrapbooking things in the dollar bin at Target. It takes me like 5 minutes to get this stupid tape off the thing because I haven't used it before. I got these around Christmas time. So I'm sprinkling this chunky glitter on, and glitter is a pain. It is such a pain. I am going to be finding these pieces of glitter all over for weeks and weeks and weeks. I know it because they were staticky. Not to mention that they're big and, they're a little bit more difficult to maneuver than like a fine glitter, but they were staticky and they were sticking to everything. So yeah, they are all over it. And I had to actually really brush my layout off once I was done at making these. So I'm using a little paper piercer because because it's such a chunky glitter, I'm trying to kind of make the edges of the letters more defined by scraping off some of the pieces of glitter that are sticking out because they're kind of like really jagged around the edges. So anyway, I do that a little bit with my paper piercer and my fingers here. And I eventually glue them on, and I go back and glue those on, add my journaling and the date, and I think that is pretty much it. Please remind me not to do this ever again with glitter. I think it's a good idea, and then I actually do it, and it's not. But anyway, there's my finished page. I do love how that word roller kind of looks like disco ball with the shininess there. And I did outline it a little bit with a white pen as well to make it stick out. And you can see all my little bits around the circle there. So happy National Scrapbook Day. Have a great day. I hope you're doing something crafty today. And please make sure to follow along with all the links below. Thank you. See you soon.